Okay, now we'll talk about Frei Otto, also connected with the day of May 30th, and we are on May 30th, 2023. Let's read a little bit about him. He was actually, sorry, he was born on the 31st, but because tomorrow, on the 31st of May, I will make two presentations. One, I'm sorry, one about Lebesgue and one about Zwiefecker. So, because, you know, today was just one architect, the Japanese, and tomorrow would have been three architects, I chose to talk about Frei Otto today. But his birthday was actually on the 31st of May. So he was a German architect and structural engineer, noted for his use of lightweight structures, in particular tensile and membrane structures, including the roof of the Olympic Stadium in Munich or München for the 1972 Summer Olympics. Otto won the Riba Royal Gold Medal in 2006 and was awarded the Pritzker Architecture Prize in 2015, shortly before his death. Here he was, a handsome man, I would say, a very skillful and determined engineer, who brought engineering to the level of high architecture, if I can say so. Drawings by Frei Otto. He explored in so many ways, you know, the complexities of nature as applied to structural design. He was not afraid of, you know, randomness. He was not afraid of unconventional structures. In fact, he promoted them. Procedura Frei Otto, procedural modeling tool, Frei Otto Attractor. If any of you is very interested in structures and unconventional structures, Frei Otto is a gold mine. Because you see, he was actually trying to discover the principles of nature. Unafraid to assume the spiral, unafraid of even assuming some kind of structural turbulence, and very light structures as well, not heavy. Like, look here, you know, it's about the labyrinth, it's about the knot, it's about the, you know, weaving in less predictable ways, about textile work. Yes, it's about, as I said, embroidering and weaving structurally. So the ornament becomes structure and the structure becomes ornament. A remarkable engineer architect. And yes, he did receive the Pritzker Prize just days before he died. Occupying and connecting, thoughts on territories and spheres of influence with particular reference to human settlement. Rather long title, but it shows his preoccupations for something that went beyond structure in a conventional sense. Occupying and connecting. Terrain vague, networks, cities and trees. A beautiful title. I mean, how many engineers of this world would talk about a terrain vague? You know, vague. I mean, the very word is very provocative for an engineer. Vague, because engineers work with, you know, with certitudes, not with vagueness, but not Frei Otto. Networks, cities, and trees. Maybe these days we should say trees, networks, and cities. The trees should come first. What do we see here? Well, we see, in my opinion, a quest for freedom within structure. In other words, assuming instability in the field of stability. Structure is supposed to be stable. But if you can incorporate a certain level of instability within structure, all for the better. Look here, this is like an osmotic, spontaneous, almost yes, ad hoc urbanism. If you can apply what nature has, the relationships between cells and all kinds of nodes in the natural phenomena, and apply it to urbanism, I think we would have more humane cities. Unfortunately, we are still governed by, Cartesianism in excessive forms. This is what Frei Otto was exploring, tissues, that they are urban or, connecting to an architectural object. He was exploring tissues. Frei Otto presented in Occupying and Connecting a theory about the phenomena of urban networks as self-organized systems, surfaces and paths, occupations, and territories expansion. All these spontaneous structures grow through two basic processes that organize all natural and humanized spaces: occupation and connection, governed by laws of attraction, repulsion, or extension, contraction. They present emergence and self-organization behavior akin to physical processes in natural patterns. But what do we see here? We see a concern with the opposites: attraction, repulsion, or expansion, contraction. And I think if we assume the two sides of the coin, so to speak, the convex and the concave, the attractor and the repulsive, the expansion and the contraction, we are closer to what true reality is about. Top projects by the 2015 Pritzker Prize laureate Frei Otto. The roof, this is a very famous work, the roof for the 1972 Munich Olympic Stadium. Designed in collaboration with Günther Benisch, the roofing for the 1972 Munich Olympic Stadium in Germany, of course, was considered a pioneer in lightweight, tensile, and membrane construction. The cloud-like and innovative structure was a striking departure from the harsh and authoritarian appearance of previous roofing structures and helped present a new, lighter face of Germany to the world. Covered in acrylic glass panels, the suspended membrane delicately floats above the stadium and maintains views out towards the surrounding landscape. And here it is, the magnificent work showing the ingenuity, the creativity of human beings beyond the misery, the tragic misery of the Second World War. Thus, Germany showed the positive side of its spirit. And Frei Otto illustrated it magnificently with these stadiums. He obviously was inspired by nature, maybe even by the wings of the butterfly. What makes interesting these works is exactly the work of Frei Otto, the coverings, so lightweight. He was no doubt an inspiring man. I think in that intertwining of the two hands, the one of the architect and the one of the engineer, as Le Corbusier sketched, in that collaboration, there is a source of an enhanced creativity. The engineer is needed, the architect is needed, and if they could collaborate, great things could come into being. So the rigidity of such a mega structure, a big stadium, is softened and made graceful by the work of Frei Otto here. Otherwise, these giant stadiums could be indeed very static and very rigid looking and intimidatingly so. But he found a way to make them actually light. Great engineering and great execution. We are in Germany after all. Frei Otto. Did he think when he made these works that one day he will receive the Pritzker Prize in architecture? Probably not. Now, the roof of the Multihalle, the multi-purpose hall in Mannheim in Germany, completed in 1975, over the course of 5 years, the Multihalle is topped by a double curvature wooden grid shell structure designed by Frei Otto, Karl Fried Mutzler, and Joachim Langner. The large span grid shell was made for a horticultural exhibition in Mannheim in Germany and covers an area of nearly 9,500 square meters. Listed as a historical cultural monument since 1998, this timber lattice self-supporting roof structure allows diffused light into the building and creates a sense of weightlessness inside. And here it is. This one as well, magnificently woven. He was a master of light structures. Like in the case of the stadium in Munich, here also what's impressive is the roofing. Organic, lightweight. Nature herself probably loves such works, which, despite the fact that they use also concrete here and there, in their lightness probably please Mother Nature. Frei Otto. The International and Universal Exhibition or Exposition in Montreal in Canada from 1967, the Expo 67 West German Pavilion roof was a competition-winning tensile membrane design that took Otto and collaborator Rolf Gutbrod several years to develop. Thanks to careful design and the form-finding structural engineering principle called dynamic relaxation, I love these two words together, dynamic relaxation. Usually when we think of relaxation, we think of some kind of a static, posture or position or activity. But he tried to arrive at a dynamic relaxation. The structure took only 6 weeks to construct, and upon completion was the first tent ever used as an exhibition building at a world exhibition. The roof comprises a steel wire net fastened to 8 slender steel masts that was then covered by a translucent plastic skin. The pivotal turning point in the late Frei Otto's career, kept by last month's, well, this text was written then, Pritzker announcement, came nearly 50 years ago at the Expo 67, and we are going to see images a little bit later. World's Fair in Montreal, Quebec. In collaboration with architect Rolf Gutbrod, Otto was responsible for the exhibition pavilion of the Federal Republic of Germany, a tensile canopy structure that brought his experiments in lightweight architecture to the international stage for the first time. Together with Buckminster Fuller's Biosphere and Moshe Sabdi's Habitat 67, the German pavilion was part of the Expo's late modern demonstration of the potential of technology, prefabrication, and mass production to generate a new humanitarian direction for architecture. This remarkable collection at the Expo was both the zenith of modern meliorism and its tragic swan song. Never since has the world seen such a singularly hopeful structure. I couldn't see the last word, but you saw it. So here is the pavilion of the Federal Republic of Germany in Quebec, I mean in Montreal, Quebec in Canada. And yes, the many years dedicated to finding the most graceful and the most lightweight kind of structure for roofing shows here again, you know, its fruits, its results. Very elegant, doing the job in a graceful way. This is just this image in itself is like an artwork, I would say. It deserves to be put on the wall, on the glass. The Japan Paper Pavilion at Expo 2000 in Hanover, Germany. Frei Otto designed the Japan Pavilion for Expo 2000 in collaboration with Shigeru Ban, another Pritzker Prize laureate, the 2014 winner of the Pritzker. Constructed entirely from paper, the grid shell pavilion is made up of recyclable paper tubes without joints. The airy tunnel arch measures 73 meters long and 25 meters wide. Honeycomb boards were used as partitions in the interior, and here it is. I personally like more the works that Frei Otto did without Shigeru Ban. Shigeru Ban has some good works, and especially in the field of humanitarian architectural works. He was great in that field, but sometimes I think some of his structures without social concerns are a little bit, should I say, a little bit predictable. But he was an important architect in today's world. Shigeru Ban, another Japanese who astonishes us after so many others. It is the country which has the largest number of Pritzker prizes, Japan. Again, a woven structure, textile work, if I can call it so. Impeccably brought together. Shigeru Ban and Frei Otto. The diplomatic club Her tent in Riyadh, Saudi Arabia, completed in 1980. The diplomatic club Heart tent serves as the centerpiece to the interior garden of Riyadh's diplomatic quarter. The beautiful canopy is made from 2020 8 millimeter, you know, less than 1 centimeter thick tiles of stained glass painted with colorful and traditional patterns created by Bettina Otto, Frei Otto's daughter. The canopy helps protect visitors from the powerful sun and is made from cable net construction. And here it is. almost fantastic, almost psychedelic. Father and daughter. I don't think they did all the building there, but just that part with the tent part. An interesting work in the desert. A German architect engineer and his daughter. The Munich Zoo Aviary, in collaboration with those two people, Frei Otto designed a large aviary for the Munich Hellerbrunn, the world's first geo zoo located in Munich, Germany. The innovative and thin stainless steel mesh canopy creates a cage-free like environment for the animals. Now, this is a good thing. If we could actually, offer the animals the chance not to be trapped in cages. The site covers an area of 5,000 square meters with a height of 18 meters. Now look at this beautiful, truly beautiful, enchanted. They are like in a, like in a dream. This very discreet, very delicate, very poetical coverings of the spaces that are employed in this zoo. It's truly a beautiful work. Well, the cage might still be there, but almost unnoticeable. Try Otto again. The City in the Arctic proposal, we are approaching the end of the presentation. City in the Arctic was Otto's visionary proposal to house 40,000 residents within an air-supported city dome in Antarctica. Created with engineers at Ove Arup in 1971, the pneumatic dome stretches 2 kilometers across and would be built on an estuary for easy access to shipping routes. A nuclear power station would provide heat and energy to the dome and would help keep the harbor ice-free. The proposed canopy would be constructed from a translucent skin attached by a grid of high-strength polyester fiber cables. Now, a very optimistic proposal. This was written, this text, who knows when. Maybe today we have less reasons for such an optimism. But at that time, I guess it was still, to an extent at least, legitimate. Frei Otto's proposal to house 40,000 people under a 2-kilometer dome in the Arctic Circle reflected the zeitgeist of the 1970s, a concern about the ecological future combined with the promise of a better tomorrow. The beginning of the 1970s was a heady time for architecture. The oil and energy crises were still to hit. Postmodernism was still a marginal heresy practiced by cranks, and despite maybe a sense of boredom at the same old concrete, the tide was yet to fully turn against state architecture. The overwhelming impression was one of accelerating development. Humans were on the moon, new technologies such as computing and new materials such as plastics were forging ahead, and desire for social change was bubbling over. There was every reason to think that this new movement, in which governments planned and built entire new cities for thousands of people, would continue and progress. Well, did it happen? Not necessarily. But, the longing for a better world existed. The Arctic city would be sited on an estuary with a harbor for shipping access and an airport on the outskirts. The city would be built in tandem. I think I read this already, or it seems similar. We move forward. once the dome was inflated and the internal pressure was at the correct balance, the city inside could be built. I'm not so sure about this kind of proposal. Buckminster Fuller also had something similar, proposed for Manhattan. But we'll look at the images soon. There would be 4 main entrances and exits, and they would connect to the various external facilities. And of course, the industrial area, which would be the city's main purpose. A submerged ring road in the dome would connect the housing for a maximum of 40,000 people with a central administration area and a reception district, while pathways and moving sidewalks at ground level would lead between the various functions. Anyway, very optimistic assessment. I doubt that this sort of microclimate under a giant dome is truly connecting us with the world and with nature, and it's still an anthropocentric, device, an anthropocentric longing for some kind of, if not the supremacy of human beings, but well, no, I would say the supremacy of human beings, to be protected, protected, protected. Here I show some things from, from what was supposed to happen under the dome, the giant dome, 2 kilometers in diameter. That's huge. As I said, Buckminster Fuller also did something similar, a similar proposal for Manhattan. I personally don't think living underneath this canopy, giant dome, doesn't matter how light, is so-called conceptually very inspiring, because we are still separated from the outside, from nature, only mimicking that we are connected with it, but we are still seduced by the paraphernalia of protection, as Rem Koolhaas would call it. But who knows, maybe without a direct experience, we could, or I could make wrong assessments. And here he is, godlike in a way. That's it. So let's wish him happy birthday for tomorrow, and thank you for being here today.